So this is a video podcast. It's going to be about art and culture and film and whatever our friends that show up to talk to us here in this chair want to talk about. We're hoping it's going to be really fun. We are great admirers of the podcast as a genre and listen to quite a lot of them, so are very inspired to make our own. We have Miss Elizabeth Strait behind the camera there, doing excellent work. She says hello. And tonight, as there's no one here just yet, the chair is empty. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we want to do. There are some books that are involved in my semester at school right now that happen to be right here, actually on the bookshelf. The cultural work of the late 19th century hostess, Virginia Woolf and the Mrs. Dalloway Reader, Gender Trouble. Books like this just make me kind of uncomfortable, but I know it's good for me, right? I'm sure you feel the same way. And the presentation of self in the everyday life. All about facades, all about interior versus exterior and how that sort of thing works. And, you know, hopefully this being the podcast thing, being something that generally people listen to, maybe in their cars or in their room or wherever, it can tend to feel like an interior thing. But by now, hopefully me stepping into this other side, hello there, this other side of podcasting by creating one, not just consuming them, it is an exterior function then. So, yeah, we are trying to think of a name for the show, and we are, of course, sponsored in part by the Twist Art Gallery, 73 Arcade, Nashville, Tennessee, and there will be a blog set up for this podcast very soon, and we hope that you'll be able to download it very soon. If you're downloading this, that's already happened. So hello, future. We are figuring this out as we go along. We appreciate your patience very much and hope to be entertaining and pleasant and informative all at the same time. So earlier today on the Facebook, I was talking with a friend of mine from school, and I had recently been to the Art Institute of Chicago and photographed several of their 19th century American artists' sculptures. Well, most of those artists actually were working in Rome when they were creating this work, but it's here now, and they were born in this country, so that's why it's considered American. But she was like, oh, who's this, blah, 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 and we got to talking about how, you know, each of these sculptors, okay, so Randolph Rogers or Joseph Mosher or William Reinhardt, people like this, they actually were making these multiples. They're making all these multiples, and when you see a statue like that in a museum, you think, wow, it's a statue, it's in marble and it's in a museum, it is special, it's like the only one ever of this. So not true. Artists for centuries and centuries, although they don't tell you this in your art history class generally speaking, because it's really fast and they cover things pretty quickly, like China in like a day. That's you can't do that with Chinese art history. That's just not cool. Anyways, these sculptors and painters from history, they worked with other apprentices, or when you hear someone using the term from the school of such and such artists, that means they were working in a studio with a lot of other people who were learning from them while working with them. And in many cases, sculptors, like they would just do the plaster part and like carve that and then have some stonemason actually do all the work on the marble that we are now admiring in the museum, and we do not know the name of that stonemason who actually was doing that part of the work. I then, of course, compared these multiples to copies, like in Battlestar Galactica. They have the Cylons, which, you know, there are many copies, they have a plan. I don't think the marble statues have a plan, but if you're watching Doctor Who, you may think they do because of the episode of Blink, which is our favorite episode here. I keep referring to we and our, and at the moment, this podcast is being filmed live, not to you yet, but while we're doing it, it's live, from the Little Pink House, which there is a blog to go along with. Tales from the Little Pink House on Blogger. There'll be links to all this, of course, on our website shortly. And yeah, so that's the we at the moment, and our collective chorus of friends who are in this arts community with us here, which you'll be seeing a lot more of in the very near future. And yeah, so I'm going to read some of the links we have here on the Google Plus page that you will be able to find us at shortly. We have the Twitter for the gallery, which is, you can find us at twitter.com, twistart. There's another twist somewhere else that's not us. We're the one in Nashville. There's GooseGirl9 on Twitter. That's me. We'll get into the whole Goose Girl thing quite a bit later. It's kind of a long story. There's also, my artwork is at bethgilmore@squarespace.com. It's still at squarespace.com because I need to link up the domain name which I got with the Squarespace, which I haven't figured out how to do yet. Maybe you do. Maybe you can email me and tell me how to do that. Walk me through it, because I'm kind of freaked out about it, but it's going to happen. Just like this podcast. We're just going with it. That's what people have always told us we need to do. Just start doing it, and somehow it will all work out. Yeah, so Tales from the Little Pink House at blogspot.com is also somewhere you can find out about what we're doing. And yeah, you know, Mad Men's about to come on in a few minutes, and we definitely need to be able to watch that, probably so we can talk to you about it later in reference to some Victorian thing, which no one else has connected before, but we're going to do that right here on this podcast, which needs a name. And I'm thinking about it, so you think about it too. You can email me at beth.gilmore@gmail.com until we have an official name, and will then have an email for that name of this podcast. This is our introduction to you. Glad to see you. Thanks for watching this for as long as you have already. Please come back in the future, and we'll see you soon. Bye.